All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of How We Got Here. I have given up on trying to remember which episode it is. I've tried to remember which episode it is every time we've done this, and I've screwed it up every single time, I promise you. So this is just another episode of How We Got Here, the show where we take a topic and pretty self-explanatory. We talk about how we got here. I am your host, along with your other host. I am Jay, and we've got Paul here. How you doing, Paul?
Good to be here.
And we have two very special guests with us today.
We do.
From the Women's Football Association, Cincinnati Cougars, we have
Angela Mason.
And what's your position on the team?
I currently play quarterback.
And
right
just
now.
so happen to be the owner of the team?
I started the team, yes.
Somebody's a favorite. Let's see, I'm the owner and I have the best position. Okay, no, I'm just joking.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, and then we have with
Sarah
us
Thornton.
Sarah, and you. And what position do you play?
I am the starting center.
And you're the starting center. And what else? It's your first year,
Oh yeah, I'm a rookie.
but you did play football growing up.
I did.
You were a defensive back
Correct.
on a all men's football team.
Correct.
That's where I want to start.
Okay.
You told me that, before we get into that though, tell us a little bit about the team and what your all goal is and what you're looking to accomplish.
Yeah, so it's an all women's football team. Anybody who is 18 and over can play, right? So you can be straight out of high school, or you could be a middle-aged female who wants to start playing football. So we take all age groups. The goal here is to, have a team of women who love the sport. They don't get to they don't get that, they didn't get that as growing up, right? So you can't, I don't know how Sarah got on a men's team, but it's very rare that a female can play with a man in any league, high school, college, obviously pros. So the whole goal here is to give that equality to the women, right? So that they can play a game that they are passionate about, because there's lots of women out there that love the game of football, but they never had the opportunity to play. So that's the goal. That's the overall goal here, is to have that place for them to play. And then obviously we want to make it competitive, go out and win championships, obviously. But yeah, that's it.
So in kind of researching the WFA, there seems to be like a few different divisions, right?
That's correct.
There's the Pro, Division 2, Division 3, and then the Development League.
Correct.
And the Cougars are Division 3?
That is correct. This is our first year.
Okay.
So, starting out in a lower tier division is always better, because you want to make sure that you're playing against other teams that are on the same level that you are, right? So as we grow, as the team grows, then we will look up to going to D2 or to the Pro League.
How do you do that?
So the first thing that they look at is numbers. So how many players do you have on your team? And then they look at your competition level. Right now we have 70% rookies on our team, right? So as we continue to grow, we're going to get 50% rookies. Then it goes to 30% rookies, then 20%. Now you have a lot of veteran players. And so that's one thing they look at, is the veteran side of it, how many veteran players they have. And then they also look at your record, obviously, and see how competitive you are. So if we're a D3 team and we play against a D2 team and we beat them.
When you beat them?
Yeah. When we beat them, then that shows that we're developing more, and then we can start asking the league to move up a division.
So Angie, this is the first year for the Cincinnati Cougars, right?
That's correct.
But have you been playing football for a while now?
I've been playing football for 15 years.
Okay. And so have you played in the WFA on other teams, or what's your history in terms of your playing history, and what motivated you to, hey, I'm going to start a team, found a team, and get it off the ground?
Yeah. So I started in Tennessee. I played on a team in Tennessee. It was not the WFA. It was another league. I can't even think of the league. It was a long time ago, so I can't even think of the name of the league. So I played several years while I was in college in Tennessee, and then I moved to Cleveland. I played in Cleveland for a while, and then they were part of the WFA. So it was a Cleveland Fusion at the time, and they were part of the WFA, and I played safety for them for 4 years. So.
And before what got you to cross the line from like being a football fan to saying, I think I want to get out in the field and hit somebody?
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is like I was saying earlier is basically as a fan, you want to do those as an athlete in general, right? I'm an athlete. I've been an athlete my whole life. Those are things that you want to do. And then I never had the opportunity. So when I knew that women's football existed, obviously it made me want to go do that.
So you talked about being an athlete your whole life.
Yep.
What sports did you play in high school? Did you play in college? What?
Yep. Basketball and softball were my main sports.
Awesome.
Which there's a lot of women,
Yeah.
kind of women's league exists for basketball and softball.
Yeah.
But would you just go and Google like, hey, I want to play football? Google, how can a woman play football?
No, actually, when I was in Tennessee, it was called the Nashville Dream. Again, I'm not exactly sure the league they were in, but they had a billboard on the side of the highway that I saw, and that's how I got in contact with that. And then once you're in women's football, you know all about it. Like I know players who live in California. I know players who live in Washington D.C. Like because it's a community. Once you're in, it's basically a community that you know all these players.
This might be a little controversial, but what's your thoughts on the lingerie football league?
I don't think it's to me it's.
I mean, those women hit hard.
They do, and they should come to our league. And to me, it's just promoting sexism. Like I think they're promoting sex. Like because
I mean, even the linemen are wearing midriffs and bras. And listen, as a man, I find it sexy, but that's what they're trying to do. Yeah. They're not selling football; they're selling women scantily dressed and hitting each other.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever watched a game. I maybe watched half a game. I wasn't
I will let you know that I have played football with two players who played on the lingerie league.
And made the transition over.
Yeah.
Why? Why did they decide to do that? I would think personally, there's probably more money in the league that's, more promotes the sexism part of it.
Yeah.
Than one who actually promotes actual real football.
Yeah. Well, one, they really love the game of football, right? The game dynamics are a lot different. Yes, they do hit harder, but I think they only have like 4 games a year.
The lingerie football league hits harder? Really?
No. I think the hitting is the same.
Okay.
You hit people.
Yeah, because I've seen some pretty
hard.
nasty hits.
Yeah,
on YouTube and things.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing is, the game dynamics, right? So with lingerie football, you only get 4 games. And there's some different rules associated with it. The games aren't as long. It's football, but it's not like football, if you know what I mean. Like, It's just.
So Sarah, you're a rookie.
Yeah.
What got you over the line? Where were you before you decided to play football? Were you just a fan at home watching on TV, or were you an athlete also that just looked for an outlet as you got older? Or
Yep. So growing up, I was an athlete as well. My husband and I own a CrossFit gym in Milford. So
what's the name of that gym?
Live Fierce CrossFit.
Okay, promote it. You got a website,
We
Facebook,
do.
Instagram?
Yep. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can go to our website, livefiercecrossfit.com, and check us out there. Live Fierce
Okay.
CrossFit. Yep.
There are morons out there who don't know how to spell. So it's LIVEFIERCE. Okay.
Yep. I'm one of those morons.
That's all right.
I'm not a speller.
So my husband and I own the gym. We had a member at the gym who was interested in trying out when she saw the post online. So she asked if I would be willing to go. So I did go to the tryouts, and I've always loved football and I've always enjoyed watching football. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. I knew if I went, I was going to end up playing football, and I did. My friend actually did not. She just couldn't make the schedule work out. So here I am.
You were a defensive back in high school.
I was.
Did you play?
Yes and no. So I was a freshman, and it was a very small farm school, so a lot of the freshmen didn't play, but I did play in several games.
Like a farm in Kentucky, or
It's in Twin Valley South, so it's up north, Preble County area.
I grew up in a farm town myself. When we got the second stoplight, our world changed.
Yep.
76 graduating students and no football team.
Same. Oh,
No,
okay.
because we were too small. But how do you? So you've got some experience playing football, and what this year? How did you find out about it?
The girl from the gym, she found it
Okay.
online. So she found it on social media, on Facebook. And then she just mentioned it in class, and we kind of joked about it. And then she was like, "No, I'm serious. I want to go do it." And I said, "Well, then let's go." We went together, and we did it.
Listen, look, okay, you're a center. I played center. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not an easy position.
No.
It's probably one of the most, as far as an offensive lineman, it's probably one of the most technical positions that exists. You have to, if you don't snap, I'm not trying to scare you or anything at all. I mean, you're a rookie. You've never done this before. But if you don't snap the ball and get those laces in Angela's hand the correct way, the way that Angela likes it, and I would also work with your backup QB, who's also defensive back, right? Starting defensive back, backup QB.
No, the backup QB is outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker.
Yeah.
I'd work with her too because, different quarterbacks like their balls a little bit differently.
They do, and they call them differently, and I have to learn how to deal with that.
So how long have you been practicing as far as snapping balls?
Since January.
Right, and I wanted to make it clear too. So this is not that Lingerie Football League isn't real football, because they hit really hard there. But I watched last year's championship between the Boston Renegades, and apparently Boston they haven't gotten beat in the past 4 years.
Boston is amazing.
But I saw them girls laying each other out. Is it as fast as men? No, but they hit hard, and you honestly couldn't really tell the difference between. It was a lot of fun to watch, because when a good tackle was made, you saw the girls get up and just celebrate, and you could really see the passion that they had for the game, especially after they made a hit or touchdown, or whatever the standard things that you celebrate for. So go ahead, Paul. You were going to say something?
Well, coming from it as a total, I'm the rookie here because you guys know more about this stuff than I do. And so, Angie, what kind of rule differences can we anticipate when we watch a WFA game than, say, somebody who watches traditional football? Are the fields same size? What's the roster size? How many players are on the field at the same time?
Yep.
Take us through this.
Yeah, so basically we play NCAA rules, so college football rules.
Right.
So everything is the same as college football, right? So we have 11 on 11, just like the pros. The field length is exactly the same. You got 50 yards wide, 100 yards long. So yeah, we have exactly the same rules that any of the college football teams would have. There are some differences between NFL and college, right? So if you catch a ball, you only need 1 foot in instead of 2. But yeah, it's basically the same thing.
What about the football size as a quarterback?
Yeah, smaller.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause
We use the junior size.
right.
Yeah.
You probably appreciate that.
I do. I have small hands, so
So would you consider yourself a passing quarterback, running quarterback, or what's your style?
I'm too old to run, man.
What are you talking about? What are you, 35?
I'm 43.
Oh, let's see. Look at that.
So
They look young, but a little bit old.
I think our offense is a little bit of both, run and pass.
Okay,
We're pretty balanced.
but you've got a good offensive line in front of you.
One of the best in the league.
But this is you said you got 70%
Rookies.
rookies.
Yeah, but 70. You got to take into consideration. We have 70% very talented, dedicated women
Rookies.
rookies.
And so you guys have been going since January. It sounds like that's when Sarah first started practicing. How many times a week do you practice? What about strength and conditioning, all this kind of stuff?
So we practice 3 times a week as a team. Before the season started, my gym was offering conditioning at the gym. So and we
Perfect.
still do offer occasional conditioning if they want to come out and get a little more.
And so you're practicing 3 times a week. Have you had any exhibition games against other teams yet, or is this something like a scrimmage?
We've had 2 scrimmages so far.
How'd those go?
They went well. I mean, for being a new team, I think they went very decent. We scrimmaged against 2 D2 teams, so the teams were D2, and we did very well. I think for us, our first time playing.
Where are you guys going to play at?
So
What are you going to call home?
we have 6 games currently.
Right.
We have 3 home and 3 away. Our home stadium is Lakota East High School, so we'll play that, and it's in Cincinnati. And then we'll play in Lansing. So we play 2 teams in Michigan, so Lansing and Grand Rapids, and then we play 2 teams in Tennessee, which is Nashville and East Tennessee.
I was, actually shocked when I started going through the literature and I was doing my background research a little bit of how many teams nationally there are that are in the WFA. This is a big deal. I mean, there was 65 teams or something like that.
65, yep.
And you guys have just picked up your first national sponsor, or maybe not your first national sponsor, but a big national sponsor, and you're going to be on ESPN3, I think, is it? All
Yep.
that?
The championship game will be aired on ESPN3.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So, I mean, is that exciting for you guys, that the potential to potentially get on TV and perform?
Is that a possibility? Is it because the Division 3? Do they have their own championship?
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's 3 championships. So the D4 team will not have a championship. They don't go to playoffs. But D3, D2, and D1 all have their 3 separate championships.
Okay, and is it the pros that are just nationalized on ESPN, or is
Nope,
there?
all 3 of them, and
Great.
they also do an All-American game, kind of like your Pro Bowl.
Mhm.
They'll televise that too.
On ESPN? Wow.
And the championship games are being played at the Hall of Fame field in Canton, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So what do you guys got to do to qualify for the playoffs?
I would assume win.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
I obviously win, but I mean, what are we looking at? 4-2, 5-1? Do first and second place teams
depends.
go? Or
Depends. We use what they call a Massey rating. I don't know if you guys have heard about that.
No, explain that.
So
for
it's
us.
basically how they do it is they look at your strength of schedule, and then your record, and then the score, right? So we play 2 D2 teams this year. So if we play 2 D2 teams and the Massey ratings come out and they say, we predict that Cincinnati Cougars are going to lose to Capital City Savages 21-0. They predict that we lose that. So say we come out and we actually do lose, but we lose 20-21. We get so many points. We get actually a hefty amount of points because we're playing a D2 team.
Right.
And we're D3.
So
So
like a
it's
straight
based on
schedule.
points. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's how. So you can't really take win losses to see if you make the playoffs.
But you could also win.
And you get a huge amount of points if you beat a D2 team.
So and with that's the one good thing about having such a large roster of rookies is nobody's expecting anything from you. Probably the other teams are probably going to underestimate you. And the problem with that is once you show them what you got, they stop underestimating you a little bit. But you mentioned the games too. That Lakota East. Your first home game is May 20th.
That's correct.
Right? Versus the Tennessee Valkyries. I'll be there. Then we got May 27th, Music City Misfits. Are they a D2? Are any of these D2?
They're D3.
What about Valkyries? Are they D2?
D3.
Okay. And then Grand Rapids Tidal Waves.
D2.
So that's gonna be another game you want to go to, because that seems like it has a lot more stakes. Even though, I mean, obviously every game has stakes, but you play a team, you're probably expected to lose to them, I would assume.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to be underdogs for that, for sure.
And to come in there and beat them would obviously be a huge victory.
Yeah. Keep in mind, I know that we'd love to have people in the stands, but we're also going to stream our games, even our away games. We're going to stream those for people to be able to watch at home, doing watch parties and stuff like that. So,
What's the streaming service you guys are going to be on?
TKDS.
Who's your announcers?
That I don't know yet.
If
I'm just saying. I know. Just saying.
So how do you structure the schedule?
That is done through the WFA.
Okay.
So the commissioner does that.
Because I was wondering, because I was thinking of NCAA college basketball and how strength of schedule matters with them, and it avoids some potential matchups. So I was wondering why the D2 teams would take the risk of playing a D3 team, because if they get upset, that the point you're talking about is going to be a big switch.
Yeah. So that is definitely dictated by the WFA. However, before the season starts or before they start making the schedule, I can contact the commissioner and say, hey, I want you to put 3 D2 teams on my schedule this year. Like I can request that. Doesn't mean that I'll get it, but they do take into consideration that.
So are your results measured against how many teams are in Division III that you would? I know you got a 6-game schedule, but who do they pull the playoff teams out of?
It's based on region, so
Okay.
that's how they do it.
So you have like a regional championship and then move on to national championships?
No, it's the playoffs are based on that. Yes. So say that we make the playoffs. So we're done by region. I think we're in the Southeast region. And then so say we win the region, then we'll play the Northeast region in the playoffs. Whoever's the number 1 team in the Northeast region, then we'll play them, and then we'll go, and then basically the East versus the West plays the championship.
So what got you to want to, you were playing in a WFA already. What personally motivated you to found your own team, get started? What's your connection to Cincinnati? Yeah, let the people out there know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not originally from Cincinnati. I moved here for work, so I don't really have a huge connection in Cincinnati itself. For me, I wanted to start something for women in sports. That's what I wanted to do. So I knew that the possibility of having a good team like Boston, right? Boston's a great example. I wanted to build something here that could be that representative like Boston has, right? So the goal here is not just to stop at D3. The goal here is to go higher and higher, to the D1, the pro league.
Why not start? Did you give a choice to start in D3, or because it sounded like the developmental leagues for the brand new teams?
So yes. So we had to put together. I did not want to start in a developmental league for a couple reasons. One, they only play 4 games. Okay, they play 4 games, and there's 0 chance for playoffs. Okay, so for me and for the women that play, I wanted to fight to get into a D3. So the team put together this elaborate proposal to the WFA. We, put it together and sent it off to them saying why we want to be in D3. And they basically said, your proposal looks good, so we'll allow you to play in D3, even though that you are a brand new team. We'll
Would
allow
you like to send in pictures of everybody flexing their muscles? But come on, look at this.
It was a lot more to it.
You don't want us out there rolling over these new kids. You don't want that. Yeah. Give us a chance to compete. We don't want to go 4-0. We want to go 6-0.
Yeah. Well, I think the big picture there is the 4 games and then no chance of playoffs. If I have players on my team that are at practice every day, busting their ass, trying to better the team, then why can't they have a chance to win a championship or have a chance to be an All-American?
How do you go about starting a team? Not that I'm going to do that, but
yeah.
How does I would assume that takes some capital.
Yeah, it takes money. So first you have to put a proposal together to the WFA and say, I want to start a new team. Okay. And then once they say, okay, we're going to allow that to happen, then you have to market. First we pay the WFA to play. So
who's a nonprofit?
Mm-hmm.
Right,
yeah, we are a nonprofit.
Yeah.
WFA is also a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Yep. So each team pays a league fee. Okay. And so we do pay them to be in the league. But then after we give them the money and say we want to be a team, then we start marketing, buying Facebook post ads, you know, getting out, buying flyers, handing flyers out. And then you just go from there. And then you have to work like, you know, high schools. We had to contact every high school, see if we could play in their field. I mean, it's just a lot of hustle.
How'd you get in touch with? Because I know it wasn't too long ago you were looking for a field.
Yeah, so we contact several. So like I said, the team has a board, right? We have a 5-man board. Well, it's 3 now, but we'll have we'll add another 2 board members, and those board members do different things. So one's in charge of, you know, like fundraising opportunities. One's in charge of personnel, like one's in charge of the treasury, you know. So we have different people doing different tasks, and then all together doing that, it helps maintain and keep the team up to work.
What is the roster size, Angie?
We have 26 right now on our roster.
26?
Yeah.
So you got some people going to go both ways?
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure.
Right. You got to give some shout-outs to your coaches. Who are your coaches?
Mike Lucas.
What's his background?
Well, if
Is
you
he the
ask
head
him,
coach, or?
he's the head coach.
Okay.
Mike Lucas is head coach. He's played, obviously he's played football. He was also a coach at Princeton. So,
Right.
yeah, he was a coach at Princeton. He coached the DBs, I think. Now he's coaching line, I think, the most. But, and then, so you guys know Paris, right? Paris, Ohio State.
Yeah.
He coached him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And trust me, we hear about him all the time.
Oh, yeah. Well,
All the time.
You have to.
Yeah. So, so he's one. And then, Elijah Paramore, I think that's his last name. We call him Coach E. He coaches the DBs, so he's a wide receivers and a defensive back coach. You know, he just coaches here and there. He's kind of new to coaching, so. And then we have Coach O. He actually coached a women's football team before in Columbus.
And is he a positional coach?
Offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's the one you yell at when the play doesn't go right?
No,
if it goes right,
he
if
yells
it goes
at me
right, it's all you. If
He
it goes
yells at
wrong,
me.
it's all him.
all the time.
One of the things I found interesting when I was doing the backup is that several WFA alumni are now coaching in the NFL. And I you know, again, something I hadn't, you know, I'm learning as we go along, and it's like, wow, this is really very interesting how this is all developing. So the WFA has been around since about 2009, correct?
That's correct.
So, and you've seen it grow. Kind of document that growth for us. How, you know, when you first started, what was it like as compared to now?
Not very organized at first. Obviously, trying to deal with 60-something teams. I think when it first started, it was around 40-something teams. So it still had a significant amount of number of teams. So it wasn't very organized. Didn't have a lot of promotional stuff. So, you know, as it's grown, like you said, they've like one of the coaches now at Cleveland Browns, I'm really good friends with her, Callie Brownson.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's a community. Once you know one football player, you know them all. So
I wouldn't brag about the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, I'm not a Browns fan either, but it's really great what she's doing.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Bad decision to go to the Browns. That's all I'm going to say.
So
I'm from Cleveland, for the record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad decision.
So yeah, it's really come along. We're getting more exposure. You know, within the NFL itself. You know, like I'm saying, they're promoting these women up into their coaching staffs and stuff like that. So,
Is there any sort of relationship, formal or informal, between the NFL and the WFA? Because I know, like, the NBA is involved in the WNBA.
So as far as sponsorships goes, it's very informal. But there are some teams that have formal relationships, and I'll go back to Boston. So the Patriots, Robert Kraft.
That makes sense now. Now the Renegades cheat. Now we know how they won 4 championships in a row. They're cheaters, just like the Patriots.
I'm telling you, Robert Kraft has flown the Boston Renegades to the championship on the Patriots' private jet. Like,
Really?
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
From like you're talking about to the WFA championship.
Yes.
Yeah. In
Yep.
Canton.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yes and no,
Right.
to answer your question.
Is there some additional in terms of sponsors you want to give a shout out to who are contributing locally or maybe even nationally to the WFA or helping out the Cougars?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple local sponsors. Sarah's Gym is one of them. We just gave her a shout out here. Our sponsor bar is Grainworks Brewery. They're located in Westchester.
And you guys have a little meet and greet on the 23rd, right?
We do
2 to 4.
2 to 4. Yes.
Come meet your. Is there all the players going to be there?
We did a poll. I don't think every single player is going to be there, but we're going to have a majority of players there.
Okay. And that's kind of a meet and greet, meet your players.
Yep. You could play bingo. There's going to be a raffle. Have fun. We'll sign autographs you want.
Yeah, well, I might ask for one.
Yeah.
But so you've got what, any other sponsors?
Nope, that's it. That's our big ones. Oh yeah, RDI Corporation. Yeah, that's our big one. That's our
your
big
name
one.
your name's Sarah, right?
Yes.
You have a microphone in front of you.
Yeah.
You
okay.
can say that. You're allowed to talk.
Okay.
Okay.
It's like being
who was
center.
that?
I don't like to be the center of attention.
You're in the worst position for
I
that.
understand. I didn't choose it.
So what is RDA? You didn't choose center?
It's RDI
RDI.
Corporation.
And what do they do?
Gosh, they do a little bit of everything. It's like a telecommunication.
Okay.
So
So is that something that you need to do as a team? Is to get sponsors to?
yeah, we have to. I mean, just so you know, like the women that play on this team, they pay to play. So they pay for their equipment. They pay a fee so that they can actually play. So the more sponsors we have, the less their fees become. Or, if we start making money, maybe we could at some point in time, give bonuses like you made an All-American, here's $500. We can do stuff like that for them. But yeah, without sponsors, it's really hard not to.
Because without sponsors, it's coming out of each individual player's pocket.
Yeah.
So we need more sponsors. Is what
Absolutely.
We're saying. Well,
Well,
I don't have any money.
We got to have a follow-up show as the season progresses, I think.
Yeah.
Have you back on and kind of tell us, how the season's going, progressing, what your goals were now as opposed to, where you're at there. Are you going to be on the brink of a playoff berth or something like that?
Yeah, we'll be more than happy to come.
Now you were a safety and make the transition to quarterback.
Yes.
How does that happen? Because that's not a transition you typically see.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, I don't play quarterback because I don't really like to brag about. I know football a lot. I know the ins and outs of football. I can read a defense. I understand football very well.
As a safety, definitely a position as a safety that you have to understand the offense.
Yeah.
And where your defensive players are going to be, who's got help underneath, things like that. But so why though? Why make the switch?
I like challenge.
That's a challenge for sure. So Sarah, did you want to be a defensive back?
Yes, I did.
And they said no.
No, I was
So look at
actually
these hands she's got.
right. No, I was training to be the backup just in case, and I was playing defensive tackle, which is where my heart is. But the opportunity arose for me to move into that starting center position. So here I am.
Everybody wants to play defense.
I know.
Oh,
It's more fun.
It is more fun. I was an offensive lineman, but I was a middle linebacker. You need a little bit of speed for that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really have that, but I did not want to make the transition. By the way, from middle linebacker to I was center or guard, depending on whatever. Maybe I made a couple bad snaps, and coach was like, "We'll get you out of there."
Right.
So, what? So are your coaches? You're just like screaming and yelling in your face, grabbing face masks, throwing you around, or what?
It's not as intense as high school football was.
Because I remember you know,
It was intense in high school.
being told I was the biggest piece of shit. I've never seen any bigger piece of shit than you, boy.
Yep.
Paul, did you play football or anything?
I did not. I played flag football for years. Played in the Cincinnati League.
So
That was it.
what do you want your message to be to everybody from as a football league? As I don't want you to speak for all women, you know, obviously speak for yourselves and what you're looking, you know, what your goal is for the future with this league and with yourselves personally.
You want to go first? I'll go first. Well, first of all, if anybody's listening, it's like if they ever thought about playing the game of football as a woman, as a female, you can. Just whatever your city you're in, just look it up, and I guarantee you there's a team very close to you. There's 65 teams out there. So, from a personal goal is, for me, well, it's not even a personal goal. Like I said from the beginning, it's not even about me. It's about having an opportunity to have women or females play on a sport that they actually love, that they can't when they're younger in college or high school.
And even if you're not a woman, I would encourage you to Google. So just look up the WFA, Google it, YouTube it. It's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch. So what about you, Sarah? What's your goal for this team, for you, and in general, what direction would you like to see it go?
So for me, I originally started playing football because a group of men or boys said women couldn't play football. And that was why my motivation to play was just to prove that, yes, women can play football. So for me, this year and this team, it's about showing women that they can be a part of something, that they can play football, that there are opportunities out there to not let anybody dictate what you can and can't do, and to go out there and challenge yourself and prove to yourself what you can do.
And you both have full-time jobs.
Correct.
With
married,
children.
with children. So it is a time commitment. You have to be able to commit because, you know, I teach my daughter and my kids that if you're going to commit to a sport or commit to anything, there are other people depending on you. So if you're not ready to commit to this, even though it's 3 days a week, there's still that commitment there to work out off site, to be conditioned, to train. Be a fan instead. But if you're ready to commit and you're ready to play some really good hard football and you're a woman, sounds like this is the right spot for you. So if you don't have anything else, I'd like to end on something a little fun. Do you have anything else?
Nope, I'm done.
All right. So what player on your team would you not let near your husband?
I don't have a husband.
Okay. What about you?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, what player would you not trust in a hotel room because they're going to do some crazy shit?
Angela.
Why? So tell me why?
You just never know what she's going to do. You just never know.
Like pranks, or does she kind of gassy, or what?
A little of everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So Angela, you can't be in a hotel room alone with Sarah, because I assume that you're on the road traveling. You have to get to know each other. You have to bond a little bit. So Angela is out of the question. Okay, what player on your team would you think would embarrass you the most in a restaurant?
Crazy Legs?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
yeah.
Haley,
What position is she?
defensive back. She's a corner.
And why? Why?
She's just crazy. She twerks everywhere.
She loves to just shaking her butt everywhere, no matter what.
Yeah.
So what position is she?
Defensive back.
Okay, so she makes like a really good tackle. She's out there just shaking it.
No, she's
And you, so
she's
you
a ball of energy for
You
sure.
guys have somebody called the Ninja?
Yeah.
We do.
Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
I assume it's a religious thing.
Yep. She's Muslim.
Okay. Is it Muslim or Muslim?
She corrected me, so it's Muslim.
Okay, she's a Muslim. A Muslim sounds kind of derogatory, I guess, but she's Muslim. So she has to wear a full hijab
Yes. She chooses to.
because of her religion.
Correct.
So I would say that's less of a choice and more of a.
Well, some people can still show their face. But
Oh, really?
Yeah. So she chooses to hide her face.
And she's your running back, right?
Yes.
Like starting running back.
Yes.
That seems a little odd to me to have just because there's so much clothing. It seems like it would be a little restrictive. Am I wrong?
So she wears the jersey, okay, but her pants are a little different. They're a little bit more baggier than normal, football pants. But she makes it work.
She's super fast.
Yeah, you got to catch her first.
I couldn't beat my son in a race, so I don't know about super fast. To me, when I saw that, I assumed Muslim, and the history with that, with women, having rights and doing things, it's not very strong from an outsider looking in. Has she ever expressed like any of that to you, as far as like you just don't expect to see a Muslim woman out there, because you're kind of putting yourself out there as a person when you're doing something like this? Does she have any thoughts on that, or is she just like, whatever, I want to play football?
Yeah, I want to play football. We have she has restrictions, right? So we have male coaches. None of the males on the team could touch, can physically touch her in any way. Coach O, who is our offensive coordinator, is her husband. So he's there, with her. But other than that, yeah, she could do whatever she wants.
Could you imagine that? I could imagine trying to coach my wife in anything. Because she would just look at me and just be like, what did you just say to me? I'm not doing that. So I'm going to do my own thing. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything that we didn't talk about that you feel is important?
I don't think so. I think you guys covered it very well.
I personally am looking forward to your season. Facebook page is Cincinnati Cougars.
Yep.
You're on TikTok under
Cincinnati Cougars.
I think your TikToks I like them. I think they're funny and they're really fun to watch. Especially the Family Matters one. I really, really enjoy. Did you guys win that competition?
We won't get into that competition right now.
I'm sorry. Do we need to edit that out?
No.
Okay.
It's fine.
Sarah, thank you for saying 10 words.
You're welcome.
You were great.
Thanks.
But no, you really you seem like I don't look at you and I don't go, well, that's a center for a football player. You seem very nice, but I hope you're not.
Not on the football field.
I hope on the football field you're just like, because I remember being on the O-line. One of the most fun things to do is just look at the rest of the guy back. I am going to rip your shit off.
I have kids and a husband. There's a lot of pent up aggression.
Yeah. Just so you know, my son pissed on me last night, and I'm very angry about it, and I'm taking it out on you. So, hike, boom, hit him, right?
Yep.
All right. So, as a recap, May 20th is your first home game. If you want to, look up the team, the entire schedule, it's WFAProFootball.com/team/Cincinnati Cougars / We've got May 20th, East Tennessee Valkyrie is the first home game. It's not the first game of the season, though. First home game. April 23rd, be at Grain Looks Brewery. If you want to see them, if you want to say hi, if you want some autographs. I'm happy that I've got a little bit more education. Because one of the reasons Paul and I like to do this is we like to explore topics that we may necessarily know a lot about, but maybe have a high level idea. And in this case, we knew nothing about this at all. And honestly, it was just like I was blown away when I was like, "Oh, this isn't lingerie football. This is like they're wearing real pads and they're really, really hitting each other." And I would like to have you on, maybe sometime halfway through this season, maybe a couple more, just to see how the season is going, see, how it's progressing. Anything else, Paul?
No, just thank you guys for coming on, because it has been a pleasure to meet you. And again, as Jay just said, this is something that I was not aware of, and I think it's great that you guys are doing the branding that you are, and you guys are putting it out there, and you're coming on our show, coming on other shows, I'm sure. And it sounds like you got something going on TikTok. I don't know. I'm not on TikTok. Sorry about that.
You can tell the generational gap between Paul and I. My notes are on the computer. He's got paper. Usually, like when we're doing like a really, really in-depth episode, he's got paper strewn across this entire table, and he's just looking through them, and I'm just like, what's my Word document say? But it's, it works for both of us. I really appreciate the time that you've both given us today. I don't know if you plan on being here for almost an hour, but I really appreciate you giving us an hour out of your day. I look forward to the season, and I look forward to talking to you again and seeing how everything's progressing.
Yep. Thanks.
All
for
right.
having us.
Till next time.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.